Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Courtney. We're back at it. Fast main track firm turf course. Kudos to the guys upstairs. They had the new stretch run of yesterday's Curlin, Florida Derby winner. So good to them. Morning, Acacia. How you doing?
I'm alive. I'm here. I'm semi-awake, and I know you and I both have just a little bit of voice left, so we'll try to save it and ration it out for these 12-race card this afternoon. But it was a spectacular day yesterday, Ron. It was a lot of fun, and we appreciate everybody that's continued to watch and wager and was here on track yesterday as we wrap up the championship meet today.
Yeah, all I can remember, we were very busy, but I was outside when the gate opened for the Curlin, Florida Derby, and to hear those cheers again was great because we've certainly been here just Casey and I cheering at each other for a while.
Right.
So it's great to have the fans back, and they, as you said, supported us all along. But so for that, we have a $200,000 jackpot guarantee. We'll talk about that a little later in the program. So good payoff in the Rainbow Six yesterday. If you had it, $3,800 plus. So lots of good things yesterday. Fast main track, firm turf course, and we're doing it again today. We got 12 race card. We got 2 pick 5s today. We got the ever popular middle pick 4 a little later on. But right now, we're going to take a look at Acacia's early pick 5 ticket.
It does kick off here. The racing train keeps rolling. I've got a $36 play. Currently, the 2 Jazzy T first-time starter. And look, it's Irad Ortiz aboard is the favorite, as Irad had a major day yesterday as well, breaking the record. We'll talk about that and recap a lot of yesterday's performances later on in the lightning round. But I'm 3 deep in the opening leg and in race number 2 as well, which I think is a pretty interesting maiden 25. 2 horses in the 3rd race. In the 4th, I'm going to try to beat Blue Kentucky Girl with a first-time starter, and that's the 3 American Classic. And in race number 5, I will wrap it up with 2 deep. I think Station Rock is going to get a good trip and an improved performance today.
Yeah, so we're pretty much in agreement, as we'll see through the races, with that early pick 5. Just a couple of ways. I had that first-time starter you like in 3rd. I think you're onto something with that horse at this first race on a Sunday afternoon, and happy Palm Sunday to everyone out there that celebrates it. So first race today, Milan is 16th on the turf, maiden claiming fillies, 3-year-old, $16,000. You thought I'd screwed it up, in I could see it. I could see it in your eyes. Scratch the 11, 12, and 13.
Well, Ron's favorite holiday is Halloween, and he accidentally calls every other holiday Halloween, especially Valentine's Day. You always get those two mixed up.
That two would get mixed up with that. So we both have time sensitive on top of our ticket is dropping to the 16 level today after displaying tactical speed and finishing 4th. It was against the 35 maidens going a mile. Gustavo Delgado, I think that was Friday, had a good day. He had 2 winners. I think they were back-to-back. And you're getting Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle.
No, absolutely. This horse has run some good races and does take the drop in class today. I think the drop is a key, has some tactical speed, makes a lot of sense in this spot. As far as that first-time starter does go, and it's interesting because this one has a big pedigree for turf. Out of a mare, that's the 2 Jazzy T, out of a mare who was a 5-time turf winner. A couple of siblings that won on turf. This is the half-sister to Lucky Long, who Rohan Crichton also had, by Verrazano. So everything points to being able to like the turf. But the barn, with first-time starters on turf, not good numbers. I think this one taking a lot of money because of the precedence of Irad Ortiz, but could just be a live firster.
A live firster, too. And the number 1, Katani, the 3 horses you used on your early pick 5 ticket, is a plunge into this level, too. Faced 50 types in her 3 local turf outings for Ian Wilkes. Edwin Gonzalez looks like he rode pretty good yesterday here for his first time around the track. And he'll be up. Katani, I think, has a shot. And you're right to use all 3 of these horses on your ticket.
Yeah, you're right. And as mentioned yesterday, in case you missed it, Edwin Gonzalez, the leading rider of the last 3 years or so, I believe, has been batting at over 30%. Leading rider for the Mid-Atlantic, based at Penn National, will be moving his tack to right down here at Gulfstream Park this summer.
Yeah, he rode for what's in Grace?
Frosted Grace yesterday. Very big performance from that one behind Basin.
Frosted Grace, great performance. We always call a she when he's a he because the Grace part of it. Race number 2, 6 furlongs. Maiden claim is 3-year-olds, 25 down to 20. And as I said, with your early pick 5, I thought we were in agreement a lot of times just by looking who you picked. And Dark Timber, the 6, going to the Jorge Delgado barn after the claim, responded to the drop down in competition with that second-place finish against 25 maidens going 5 furlongs on the main track. The barn is good with first first off the claim. They dropped this horse. They went right in to get it. And guess who's going to be riding? Irad Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Irad, who's riding, I believe, I don't think any of his horses scratched either. So it looks like he is riding all 12 races today, looking to extend that win lead that he does already have. But this one makes a lot of sense. Was already there. Now, first off the claim for a barn, that's about 26% off the claim. The number 3 Grand Wiser is Victor Barboza Classic drop down. Lots of changes coming from this one, though. We haven't seen him since the end of November at Gulfstream Park West, where it was a sloppy track. So I'm almost kind of treating this as a first-time starter. I know it's the drop, but it just is really hard to gauge anything from that race. So blinkers on, comes back as a gelding. It's still Victor Barboza and Amise El Jaramillo.
Yeah, you got the ultimate equipment change being a gelding there. The number 2 Drum and Drummer, I like the name of this horse. Gelded son of Congrats, drops to this level, fair to show much in its special weight debut, going a mile for Kelly Breen. Tyler, they're being logical with this horse. Didn't run very well, dropping it right down.
And that makes sense. I mean, he didn't really run a step. He did show a little bit of early speed, which is encouraging. So it just seems like a realistic move.
Not many scratches on today's card, but there is a few throughout the card. And one comes in here, and it's to number 5. This is a 6-furlong sprint allowance optional claimer for fillies advanced 3 and up. The optional claiming price $25,000. Both of us have number 6. Don't Call Me Mary on top of our ticket. Wanted to go back and revisit her last race, and I just thought it was a real good performance. She turns from there. She's going to find that right lane to run. She ducks to the inside, and she rallies to finish second, which I thought was a good thing. As I said, she had to find that racing lane to run, and she did very, very well coming up the inside to just get beat ahead. So I just thought it was a good performance for this horse. It's Todd Pletcher with Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle today. She just lost by, they said ahead. It was less than ahead.
No, it was a very big performance from her behind Slam Dunk, who's trained by Shug McGahee, and then went on to Tri Stakes Company after that. I thought that was a big effort, especially off of a considerable layoff, too, from September to February. So now second off the bench, ran well last time. They also took the blinkers off last time. All of that seemed to come together well. She's very much the one to beat in here. The number 1, Gitana, though, is in very good form. Claimed for Rohan Crichton, won last time out. Will try to make it 2 wins in a row and does have that speed.
Yeah, got that speed and been in good form. And we mentioned this horse a lot in other races where horses that have come out and run okay when they run against Gitana. So it's one of those races that you seem to mention a couple of times a week. So race number 4, we're going to the turf. It's mile maiden claiming fillies, 3-year-olds, 50,000 down to 40,000. Going to scratch the 7 in here. And as you mentioned, American Class, a daughter of really solid turf sire, Giants Causeway, debuting for Kelly Breen.
Yeah, one of the best sires in the world for sure. But I tried to beat the likely favorite, which is Blue Kentucky Girl. I do think that she's the one to beat, but she could be a little bit vulnerable in this spot. And I thought a first-time starter could be interesting. Kelly Breen's had a strong meet all along. He can have them ready to roll first time out. And this one is the full sister to Grade 2 place, Restoring Hope. On the bottom side, there was just one sibling who was 1 for 8 on turf, but you do have that Giants Causeway influence, as you mentioned. It's out of a Tappet mare. I thought that this filly, if she was ready to roll, I don't really have any worries about the surface.
And what a nice day Julian Leperoux had yesterday.
3-win day yesterday,
3-win
too.
day, yeah. And really nice performance by him. And, of course, he stole one on the front end on the turf, which he did. We figured it out. I thought 70% of his wins, but he won for a couple off the pace, were horses that he stole on the front end on the turf, so he did an excellent job. You mentioned the 5, Blue Kentucky Girl. Everyone's going to try, and you probably use this one, and maybe you'd try and beat it, stretching out to the mile, return from the layoff, finished that late running 5th. I thought it was a screw-tightening performance, going 5 on the turf for Todd. Arad atop this daughter of Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem certainly bred to get a mile.
No, absolutely. And she did debut at Saratoga going a mile and a 16th, where she kind of ran off, setting that pace. So I think now with some maturity at the proper level, it was an okay performance late last time out. She was actually running a little bit later, but I'd imagine now second off the bench, some more physical and mental maturity stretching out. We're going to see her maybe not setting the pace. She could set the pace perhaps, but she will be forwardly placed. race. Might sit, I thought, just off the 9, Take Me As I Am.
Yeah, stepping up. You're going to take the blinkers off that horse this afternoon. Rebounded from the poor showing with the blinkers added. They tried it, didn't work. Right off for Safi. And I think I'm right that Safi's going to be second behind Todd as leading trainer.
I believe so, yeah.
I think so.
Huge meet for Safi
Yeah,
all
fantastic
along.
meet. So that is he's just been doing a fantastic job. And you heading to New York in a couple of days, he's going to have a nice string up there in New York. So you'll be able to see Safi running both here in South Florida and up in Nueva York. Number 5th race today, 5 furlongs on the turf. Claim is 4 and up, $16,000. I wish I had somebody who could help my financial system once in a while after my betting yesterday. I started with that one, and this one is turning back to 5 furlongs, set the pace, finished 3rd. Kelly Breen once again with Irad. We're going to mention his name a lot. He's on all 12. He's riding in all 12 races today. Put this one on top, Acacia.
And honestly, he has a chance in all 12 races today, really.
Exactly.
I mean, the thing with financial system is that he tried setting the pace last time. He finished 3rd. I think that Kelly's kind of looking at it. Well, he can't sustain it going 2 turns anymore. Now he's 7. Let's try shortening him up and see if that helps. And sometimes it just does add a little bit more punch, too, in shortening up. I thought that there was a little bit of speed in here. And I went back to the 4 Station Rock, who does pick up Junior Alvarado. Was only beaten by 2 lengths last time out behind Captain Ron, and Fully Loaded, who did come back to win. Again, that was a starter allowance race. This is just the open 16 claiming, and I thought that he could run an improved effort today and will be a little bit of a price.
Yeah, he's been knocking on the door in all his races here for trying to build Theranos, Junior, as you mentioned, in the saddle, talking about guys that had great meet, Junior Alvarado. I'm pretty sure he might be back here next winter. He didn't have a bad time yet.
Yeah, I would think he probably enjoyed his winter here.
Yeah, and I saw his family out there catching fish and everything like that. It's hard to do that in a frozen lake in
Yes,
New York.
it
So
is.
number 2, Malraux, I think it is, a winner at this level and distance. That was a couple of starts back. Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle going to try and repeat that performance after showing speed against those 16 starter allowance runners last time out. So they're just going to go back to what was successful for them.
No, absolutely. And he is the speed of the speed. If he can steal it on the front end like he did 2 starts back, that makes him a major player in here.
Race number 6, 7 furlong maiden special weight fillies, 3-year-olds, and a couple of really nice horses in this race. But both you and I started with another woman, the number 6, who you got to believe is sitting on a winning performance after rallying 5 wide to finish 2nd. That was a career debut at this level and distance. What a day Bill Mott had yesterday, 3 wins, winning. He's winning. He's probably up to 30% now. He's been knocking at that door. And who's riding Junior Alvarado atop this door to Broken Vow?
Yeah, this one ran very well behind Pass the Champagne, who had been privately purchased after her strong 2nd place debut. Came back, won really nicely in a very salty field on the opening race, in fact, on Fountain of Youth Day. Feels longer than just a month ago. But another woman I thought ran very well and absolutely should move forward off of that effort. It could be a fine field that she meets today, but she faced much tougher, I think, in that maiden special weight, that first race on Fountain of Youth Day.
Well, the horse you have in 2nd, I have in 3rd is the one Allworthy. I want to go back and show you this horse. I'm just going to show you the start, and then we're going to switch it to the 8 pole home. You're just going to see it's not the worst break in the world, but just, being out there, post 12 that they actually broke from post 11. So just out there, just got a spot to feel a bunch. And we just got, I wanted to show that part. And I just wanted to show this horse close. We're going to pick it up at the 8th pole and just comes flying all the way back there to run. And I just thought it was a good performance for Sappy Joseph Jr. It looks like the light went on through the stretch, and this horse he'll be here. Wait, don't you can trust me that he'll show up sooner or later and just come flying late. So I thought maybe with that sun, looks like he just closing very strongly. A horse that I don't know if it can beat another woman. I think with a better break, certainly a better post. The rail, not the greatest post, but much better than post 11 last time out. And then you have Meet the Beauty in 2nd, who's a daughter of Frosted.
Yes, and just to circle back to Allworthy real quick, you saw that was a filly. She had that extension blinker on. She was breaking from the outside post. She's bitonalist, and she came flying late. I just wish that she was going like a mile or further today. I mean, I still think 7 furlongs is too short for her. That's why I put her a little bit further down. That said, she ran huge first time out and absolutely could improve. She does have the inside post to deal with. If she comes back with that extension blinker on again, she's breaking from the rail and she won't see any horses to her outside. So that could be a little bit interesting just as far as different tactics that we may see from her again today. So she's an interesting prospect. As far as the 5, Meet the Beauty, she is affiliated by Frosted. The dam was all turf wins, but she was actually second in the Grade 1 Alcibiades on dirt. So I think that this one, obviously it's Todd Pletcher. Irad Ortiz could be ready to roll at first asking.
Yeah, it's Irad, it's Todd Pletcher. So we'll take a short break. We'll come back. Rainbow Six, $200,000 jackpot guarantee. We just keep rolling along here. We'll be back for race number 7.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground ball first inside. Race. Got a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. We're on an Acacia, about 11:30 in the morning. Fast Main Track Firm Turf Course. $200,000 jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six this afternoon. Just a fantastic day with the Rainbow Six yesterday. Bet like $8 million into it or something like that. It was closer to 10 than it was to 7.5 million.
Yes, it was. It was a great pool. It was a really fun day. And what a fun sequence, too. I think a lot of people may have singled always shopping. I think that's what happened to you, which was tough. And then Churn and Burn, I was upset because I loved that horse last time and jumped off this weekend thinking that he wasn't maybe up to that level, stepping up with Julian Leparoux on the front end. So it made for some fun performances and some exciting stretch runs.
Well, let's take a look at my Rainbow Six ticket, $43.20. And I did go 3 deep in here with Doug. I like Keep Quiet today, 6-1 on the morning line. I used Dr. Shane and all good. Race number 9 today is where my single comes. It's Spotters Hill for Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado. I'm going to ride the hot hand. Race 10 was one of those head scratches for me, so I went 4 deep. And in the last race, I just think on race number 11, I have my long shot Proliferate. I just thought that horse at a bit of a price of 8 to 10 to 1 might be good. That's the 5. And in the last race, I think the race goes through. He Ain't No Saint, maybe Sweeney's Cat. So just 2 deep, 43.20 for me.
43.20, the magic number, and a single makes it possible to spread in a couple of those races. There are some tricky races in the sequence here.
Yeah, and starting right here, like I said in race number 7, I like the 9 in here, Keep Quiet. Cutting back to the mile today, hoping for a clean trip after troubled outing going a mile into 16. He had a steady in that race. He had a check at the 16th pole. They weren't as bad. I went back and looked at the replay. It wasn't really enough for me to show Saffie Joseph Jr., and here's where Edwin Gonzalez is going to get them out. So I thought at a little bit of a price. I know you have this one on the ticket. It's no great shakes, but I just thought a little bit of a price. I didn't want to leave this one off my Rainbow Six ticket.
No, you're absolutely right. My biggest question was that Dream Friend seems to be the only speed in here. And then you wonder, can he keep that momentum going with the new connections? And he is trying to win 3 in a row, and he's always kind of been a little bit of a shaky proposition. So I landed on the number 4 in here, Dr. Shane, mostly because he has some tactical speed. He doesn't need to be too far back like some of the others in here. And as we've kept saying on this turf course, it's a big disadvantage if you're too far back and trying to close. We did see some horses close. I mean, you look at I Get It yesterday, who closed from off of it in a slow pace and made the performance even that much more impressive. So I went with Dr. Shane thinking that tactically he'll have a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, he had really a couple of sharp outings at 7.5 furlongs. He was second to that repeat winner, Zap Daddy, 2 starts back, and a popular odds-on winner against those claimers last time, outdated claimers. And all good, I think, is logical, too. Turning back to the mile, posted his 2nd consecutive victory against those 3 lifetime claimers, but it is Mike Maker, Irad Ortiz. When you're putting a Rainbow Six ticket together, I think you sort of have to add them somewhere on the A or B ticket.
I would certainly agree.
Let's go to race number 8 this afternoon. A mile allowance, optional claim of 4 and up. The optional claiming price of $25,000. And this is where the late pick 5 kicks off, and Acacia has her ticket.
I do. I have a $27 play, and I'm going to single right off the bat, rip the Band-Aid off early, as we say, the 4 Roman Empire. I know that he was disappointing in his last couple, but look, he's not meeting the likes of Last Judgment or War Stopper, both of whom are stakes quality in this spot. So I'm just going to stand alone there. I agree with you on Spotter's Hill in the 9th race, but I did have some interest in the 2 Mark Cassie runners, and that's My Sea Cottage and Courageously. So because I singled in the first leg, I was able to use those. 3 deep in the 10th race. I think that's a very tricky one. I agree. Did you say your long shot was Proliferate?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's my long shot too. So we're going to have a no shot for a long shot today, but I like that one from Mark Cassie off the layoff. And I have He Ain't No Saint as well with Yankee Bat Boy in the nightcap.
How many times have we done this? Anthony?
Too many.
Yeah, that's the word right thing to say. Too many. 4 Roman Empire was given some time off after stalking the pace and just getting beat for a second. One finishing third to Last Judgment in the 9 Furlong Sunshine Classic. So, Todd Pletcher, I just think this is a good spot and a good single by you.
Yeah, I just felt that, I know Last Judgment got beat yesterday, but obviously he's a graded stakes winner. He's a graded quality. War Stopper is stakes quality as well. He faced 2 starts back. I just think that he's running against a fine field of horses, but there's nothing like those 2 that he's going to be facing in here today. So I felt that was some class relief, and then I included the speed of the 2 Ralston in second.
You Scar in here, who's hoping to find more for the stretch drive. Rally nice to finish third in his recent effort for Steve Cluceres. Embassy El Jaramillo in the saddle this afternoon. So Roman Empire, I think, is a major player in there. We'll go to race number 9, a mile on the turf. This one, we both have, number 1, Spotter's Hill, the Irish bred, turning back to the mile. Go back and show you this horse. We're going to pick it up at the top of the stretch to the wire. Was in a duel all along with the eventual William Cellist here. They sort of had their own race going on, and just one had to give way, and it's certain Cellist was very game in there and just going to follow these 2 to the wire. So I just thought that the horses both ran exceptionally well, and she just got a little leg weary in the stretch, and off that performance, I think she's going to run well in here. And Cellist was pretty sharp at 7-1 in that race.
Yeah, nice winner there. As you're right, I think the top 2 were best in that race. As Cellist and Spotter's Hill were way ahead. I mean, once again, you see a similar kind of look of what we saw from some of the Belmont runners yesterday. Those sharp workouts up at Payson Park. This one sold at the Tattersall's October yearling sale for the U.S. equivalent of about $211,000. So obviously there have been high hopes for her all along, or for him, for Windstar and China Horse Club. I think this is a good spot to come back in here. As the 3 My Sea Cottage ran pretty well last time out. When stretching out on turf last time in that race, and courageously gets back on the grass today.
Yeah, those 2 both figure. Now, you Season to Dream for a little further down and moves to an outside starting position after returning from the layers, breaking from the rail. It was just that so-so 8th in that race. I really respect the work that Barkley Taz does. He's got a red handling his second start off the bench. I'm expecting improvement from that horse, but we both like Spotter's Hill. Race 10, 7 furlong allowance optional claimer, 4 and up. The optional claiming price of $62,500. I went with the 1 endorsed on top of my ticket, is turning back to 7. Responded in the surface switch with a set the pace third. That was going that mile on the main for Billy Mott. Go to Jock Junior Alvarado. Thought it was a logical one in here.
No, he absolutely is. He's been a little bit of a tough horse because he hasn't won since May of 2020, and he always takes money too. Obviously, the turf try didn't work out back on the dirt last time, and I think 7 to a mile is really what he wants. I did go, it's just a class play with Lexitonian, who last race in the Grade 2 Phoenix behind Diamond Oops would face win in the downpour and the Forgo prior to that. I mean, just the class play of the horses that he's been running against in all those graded stakes tries. I mean, beating a nose in Grade 1 company as well in the Bing Crosby.
Yeah, that's one of the horses I went 4 deep in race 10 that I had to add for all the reasons you mentioned. Then number 7, Fat Man, is returning to the allowance optional claiming rounds after facing stakes competition in the 9 consecutive races dating back to 2019. This 7-year-old turns back to 7/8 of a mile, finished 5th, going a mile in both the Grade 2 Gulfstream Mile, the Grade 3 Fred Hooper. Just look at his past performances. This looks like a walk in the park for him after facing those graded stakes runners all the time.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't include him. I had him circled, so obviously I messed up when typing up the picks. That's the kind of week that it's been. He should be in there. He belongs in there. So my mistake. will get that fixed, as I don't know what I was thinking. But we do have to mention the 4 Soldado, who's in for Todd Pletcher. He was the favorite last time. Very disappointing. He's had some gaps in his races. Blinkers go on today. Again, I've always felt 7 to a mile is really where he does belong. So we'll see what happens, but he's got some things to prove this afternoon.
Well, let's go to race number 11. A mile on the turf. Claimers 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. Or race since September 28th, 35 to 25. Scratch the 1 horse in here. And let's talk about Acacia's long shot.
Because it's also your long shot. Proliferate, again, off of a big layoff last ran. Actually, a year to the day, which is kind of funny, too. March 28th in 2020, which was Florida Derby Day last year. Ran behind next out stakes winner Largent, who would come on to run really well in Graded Stakes Company and the Pegasus World Cup Turf. Temple came out of that race to win. Salty allowance field on the Florida Derby undercard last year. Has been gelded, drops in class, had some really strong races prior to that disappointing effort in that allowance before the layoff.
The 3 Imperial Mission is turning back to the mile, stalked the pace, finished 4th against this same level from Mike Maker, Arad, named on the Son of Noble Mission. Just a logical contender in there.
And Noble Indy ran well yesterday behind Sayaf as well, so I think that flattered Imperial Mission. And Fig Jelly stretching back out, who ran really well at the mile, 2 starts back.
We're going to show you the race of number 7, Street Copper, who was well meant in defeat, I thought. But I wanted to ask you, when you watch this race, I'm going to pick it up to the top of the lane. When this horse tries to reel in Dundalk, I think the name of the horse, it just seems, you think this horse hung in the stretch, or, I wasn't quite sure. It looks like he had it to go by and just didn't do it that day. So I was torn whether to show this video. He tried hard, but it just didn't get there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would have liked a little bit more punch, and that's just unfortunately the kind of horse that he is. His last win was October of 2019. But the thing is that Dundalk did wire the field, and I liked him that day for Kathleen O'Connell, and he really dug in inside. I think it really highlights how well Dundalk ran. And I think that it's a perfect illustration of a race that looks a bit better on paper than it actually was for Street Copper. But that said, he's been consistent. Let's see if he can take that next step forward.
Race 12, about 7.5 on the turf. Maiden Claimers 3-year-olds. I thought the one to beat in here to me was He Ain't No Saint, who's cutting back slightly to the about 7.5 at the rallying to finish the game second. He's got to try and beat the bias for Jose Pinchin, but he's got the right guy to try and do it, and that's Arad.
Absolutely. And, he's had Jose Ortiz, Junior Alvarado. He's had very good jockeys on him, and he just has not gotten the job done. Here's the thing. He's going to win and break his maiden one day. Maybe it's today. I included him in the Rainbow Six as well, or the Pick 5 as well. But I had some interest in a first-time starter, big turf pedigree on the 10, Yankee Bat Boy out of Uncaptured, out of a Wildcat Air Mare, who was an 11-time turf winner. So tons of turf pedigree, top and bottom. And this one does debut after a steady series of works on the turf up at Palmettos.
That's the 12th for Sunday, but we got a very exciting lightning round to get to, so let's go right to it.
We do. We have a lot to recap from what happened yesterday. We've teased several of those points already, as we'll start it off with Known Agenda winning the Curlin Florida Derby, as that gives Todd Pletcher a record 6 wins in that race.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. 6 wins in that race, and it was fitting that Arad gets his 138th victory. And what does he win? He wins the Florida Derby, so he capped a great meet. Not that it's over. He's got 12 today, but just a great performance, and of course owned by Vinny Viola, who owns the Florida Panthers, who are playing much better this year.
Yeah.
Vinny, if you're listening, they're playing much better.
It's been a good year for Vinny, that's for sure. And he also bred this horse, which I think is the best part, to be the owner and the breeders. There's Irad Ortiz into the winner's circle, breaking the record to get win number 138. He tied the record earlier in the day with Sweet By and By, and then got to get his picture taken with that Florida Derby garland for win number 138. Now we do have to, there it is.
There you go, 138.
Having a real important conversation there with Vinny, I see. But congratulations are due to Irad Ortiz, and thank you to everybody. Of course, our sponsors, Hill and Dale Farm at Alapa. There's John Sakura, the Curlin Florida Derby. A son of Curlin won the race. How about that?
And our boss, Belinda Stronach, right there, part of the celebration.
Absolutely, as we do have to address Greatest Honor, who was the morning line favorite and the heavy favorite going into that race. A third place finish there from him. But Shug McGee, he's saying he has enough points. It looks like we will still go on to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, he wasn't that disappointed. He just thought that, the 1.25 miles was not going to be a problem. And if Shug says it, I agree.
Absolutely. I loved even reading post-race comments from Jose Ortiz, who said, we'll turn the tables in the Kentucky Derby. That's the big one, so one to follow for sure. As we also had the Gulfstream Park Oaks yesterday, Ken McPeak was able to get back-to-back wins in that race. Of course, his Swiss skydiver won the Gulfstream Oaks last year.
Yeah, I'm still amazed that the horse paid $20 last year. That's all I remember of it. And, this one, Grade 1 Stakes place, it did not disappoint for Kent, so we'll see how he goes from here. And maybe he wins the Preakness with this horse. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be fun. But Kenny McPeak saying Crazy Beautiful. Absolutely. They'll give her a try in the Kentucky Oaks. So we'll have to cheer for our Gulfstream contingent into the first Saturday in May. As yesterday, we had not only big races here in South Florida, but across the other side of the world in Dubai. For the U.S., it was Mystic Guide winning for trainer Mike Stidham in the Dubai World Cup.
Yeah, Luis Saez in the saddle, and just, never a doubt in this particular race with this horse. I was lucky I had time to go to watch it, and you just knew he was going to win it. Louis, just an excellent rider. Of course, he rides here all winter long, but he had go there. I think it was a good idea to go to Dubai.
I think so. It turned out to be the right decision. He was pumped up, celebrating after the wire, too, and rightfully so. A huge win. As also over in Dubai, we saw a fan favorite for us here in Florida, a Florida-bred Extravagant Kid taking the Alquaz Sprint, an 8-year-old. And shout out to Samantha Perry, who works with us on the production team as well. I know she gallops this horse in the morning, too, for Brendan Walsh.
Yeah, I saw her jumping around. I think she hit her head on the ceiling when the horse won, so we'll see how it plays. It's just great. These races where they run straight down, I don't know where to look, but all I'm glad is when they put this horse's number up at the end.
Absolutely. 8-year-old Florida bred. That was start number 50. I mean, how can you not like a horse like that? As we wrap up the meet here today at beautiful Gulfstream Park, we give congratulations to the meet leaders, Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz, and Paradise Farms, and David Stoddicker as the winning owners as well for the meet titles.
Yeah, they'll be getting, they'll have some, get their trophies, I guess, in the winner's circle a little later on throughout the afternoon.
Absolutely. Races for each of those to highlight winning trainer, jockey, and owner. As we do wrap up the meet here, we say a big thank you to the fans, the bettors, the staff, horsemen, owners, everybody for all of the support throughout the championship meet here at Gulfstream.
And thank you to the guys upstairs that bring our picture out there every day. To make me look good is a hard job to do.
They have it the toughest as all, but we appreciate it really from the bottom of our hearts. It is a privilege what we get to do working here and bringing racing to all of you from wherever you're watching. So Ron, for one more time, we'll send it up to Pete Aiello, track announcer, for scratches and changes for the championship meet final day.